So far, we've covered material and labor costs. Now let's talk about the profit overhead factor. This is what determines your final pricing and profit margins. Let's start in the admin area. Click Pricing Model. Here you'll see an option to specify your default profit overhead factor. This is the factor that applies to any order that doesn't have a unique factor assigned to it. I'll explain what that means in a moment. To change your default factor, click Edit. Let's say I want to change it to 1.8. I can simply enter that value here. You can also assign unique factors to all hardware costs for items such as trash pullouts or drawer slides, which is useful if you want to match retail prices. For example, if you buy a trash pullout wholesale for $200 and want to sell it at the general retail price, you might set a factor of 2 for all hardware items, which would set the price to simply double the cost. For now, I'll click Cancel and keep it at 1.67. That number will come up again shortly. You can also set customer-specific factors. This gives you the flexibility to offer different pricing to different customers. We can do that here. Click Customers. Here I have some example customers. Notice that Morgan and Elizabeth have different factors. Morgan uses the default. He doesn't have a custom factor assigned, but Elizabeth does have a custom factor. Now let me show you how we can apply these customer-specific factors to individual orders. Click Orders, then click Add Order. When creating a new order, you have the option to leave the customer field blank. In that case, the order uses your company's default factor. This is useful for one-time customers or situations where you don't need to create a customer profile. But if I select Elizabeth Dara, the order will use her custom factor of 1.5 instead of the company default. Let me show you this in an existing order. I'll click on the Webster 2 order, Manage. Up here at the top, click Management. You'll see a markup settings page, which I'll cover later. But for now, let's look at General Settings. Here you can change the customer assignment, or you can assign this order in an order-specific custom factor. If I click Edit Settings, I can change this back to Not Customer Specific, which means it will use the company default. Right now it's assigned to a customer with a factor of 2.5, but if I click Save Changes, watch what happens. All the prices are going to change. The ultimate grand total will update, the rooms page will change, accessories and hardware costs will change, taxes and fees will change as well. Note that installation and freight are independent. They're not connected to the profit overhead factor. You can see it's now using 1.67, the company default, and all the prices have dropped as expected. Now back to the pricing model page. Click Admin, click Pricing Model. You might know what your factor should be, and honestly it can change over time as your business grows or downsizes, but we've included a calculator to help you figure it out. Let me show you how it works. Click Simulation Calculator. Click Annual Overhead Costs. Here you can enter all your overhead costs, expenses that can't be assigned to a specific order. Things like building rent, equipment maintenance, insurance, your CNC machine, and any other fixed costs. You can change any of these if you click Edit. For example, let's say office salary isn't $110,000 because you're the only office person. You can either change it to 0, or we can remove it entirely if we click Delete. After deleting, the total updates to $57,000. If we click Calculator, we can see that number shows up in the Calculator section under Total Overhead Annual Costs. This number is used to calculate the overhead rate, as you can see in this explanation. The total annual direct cost is something you'll need to calculate yourself. Go through your past history's bills of materials and employee pay stubs, and add up all costs that can be directly assigned to specific orders. For example, if you did 10 kitchens at an average cost of $12,000 each, your annual direct cost would be $120,000. Click Edit, and we can enter that here. Now this is going to change the overhead rate and the overhead profit factor. So watch those. Click Save, and it updates. The calculator uses your overhead costs and direct costs to determine the overhead rate. This is how we assign each order its fair share of overhead. The formula is overhead annual cost divided by annual direct costs. In our example, $57,000 divided by $120,000 equals 0.475. You can also specify your desired profit factor. Click Edit. If I change it to 0.15, click Save, and you'll see the calculated factor update. You can choose to use or ignore these calculated results. This is just a tool to help you. Your actual factor is set separately over here. Click Default Profit Overhead Factor. Now this method isn't perfect. If you're growing, last year's numbers for annual direct costs might not reflect your current situation. As your business changes, your factor may need to go up or down, or if market pressure prevents you from changing your prices, your actual profit will fluctuate instead. Let me show you one more powerful feature you can use from the Orders page. Click Orders. In WebSphere 2, click Manage. Click Management. Then click General Settings. Then click Edit Settings. First, let me change this to Elizabeth Dara. Click Save Changes. Notice the prices change from the company default of 1.67 down to Elizabeth's custom factor of 1.5. Now, what if we want to override Elizabeth's factor just for this specific order? Click Edit Settings again. Click the Custom Factor toggle, and let's enter 1.8. Click Save Changes. All the prices increase. Taxes, accessories, hardware costs, room costs, and the grand total all go up. Now, an important note here is that once you enable a custom factor, it overrides everything else. I can change the customer to someone else, say Henry Zelensky, and the prices won't change because the custom factor is still set to override. This is by design. To use a customer's assigned factor, you'll need to click the custom factor toggle off and click Save Changes. If the prices aren't changing when you switch customers, check if a custom factor is enabled. To recap, you have a lot of control over your overhead pricing in Quickbid. The company default factor. You set this in the pricing model. It applies to all orders that don't have a specific factor. Customer-specific factors. You can assign unique factors to individual customers, giving them special pricing. Custom order factors. You can override all other factors for a specific order. The calculator tool helps you determine what your factors should be based on overhead and direct costs.